Ya Ilahi, Ya Ilahi, Ya Ilahi, Ya Ilahi.
As in, suddenly, are they responsible for all their physical makeup? No. They continue to experiment and see where the world takes them. Whereas in Islam, the moment you recognize there is physiological change inside you, you then have a responsibility with that physiological change. And that's why the next area in the makeup of the youth in Islamic thought is the psychological changes that occur in one's youth. Because not only do physiological changes occur, and Islam gives you guidance in physiological change, then you have psychological changes which begin to occur. 4 faculties in particular begin to develop for the first time alongside the physiological changes. What are those 4 faculties? Write them down. The first faculty, psychologically, which begins to develop as soon as you enter your youth, is the power of reason. Note that down. The power of reason is the first faculty which develops when you have the physiological changes. You suddenly begin to ask questions. Why God? Where is God? Who is God? When did God come? Why am I doing what I do? They tell me to pray. Why? They tell me to wear the scarf. Why? They tell me that I have to fast and for 1 month. Why? Suddenly the faculty of reasoning begins to develop more than it's ever done before. When you are a kid in Islam, the reason you don't have a burden legally is because the faculty of reasoning is something extremely small. It's something extremely undeveloped. As soon as those physiological changes begin, suddenly the faculty of reasoning starts to wake up. Why is my body changing? When my body changes, what responsibility do I have with these changes? What responsibility do I? Suddenly the word I becomes part of your sentences. Suddenly, it's no more I rely on what mom and dad say. Now, the self of the human being begins to ask questions. The first faculty psychologically, which begins to move as you become a youth, is the faculty of reason. The second one, the faculty of anger. When you're a kid, you may get angry. But when you become a youth, suddenly that becomes even harsher. The anger becomes venomous. Somebody takes something away from you, you want vengeance on them. But it's a carefully calculated vengeance. It's one which may be mixed with reasoning. Number 3, what then also develops? The power of imagination begins to develop as well. You begin to imagine yourself in places you never imagined before. When you're a kid, you don't imagine scenarios which you begin to imagine when you're a youth. Number 4, desires. When you looked at a girl when you were 6 years old and your mom said play with her, you turn around and say, I hate playing with girls. At 18, there's not many who hate playing with girls. All of a sudden it's like, I want to play with her. And before you know it, the faculty of desire suddenly becomes aroused. Before, looking at the opposite gender wasn't seen as something which makes you have feelings. The hormones weren't raging. All of a sudden, the faculty of desire begins to develop. Can I ask the crowd one question? I've just mentioned to you 4 faculties. Give me the letter of each one. The first letter of each one. What word does it make? Rate. Therefore, whenever you want to know about the 4 psychological changes that begin to occur in the human, according to Islam, when you're a youth, remember the word rate. And you know why I tell you to remember the word rate? Because psychologically, what's happening now, physiologically, what changes when you're a youth? What part? The body. Psychologically, the intellect. Islam recognized the youth is physical and spiritual, and sought to provide guidance for physiological change and for intellectual change. Those 4 faculties are what are called the soul. Al-Quwwa Al-Aqliya, number 1, the power of reason. Number 2, Al-Quwwa Al-Ghadbiyya, number 2, the power of anger. Number 3, Al-Quwwa Al-Wahmiyya, the power of imagination. Number 4, Al-Quwwa Al-Shahwiyya, the power of desire. Whenever you hear scholars saying purify your soul, the meaning is purify those 4 faculties. When Islam defined the youth, it didn't say you're a youth at 15 years and 3/4 months. It didn't come forward and say 12 or 13. It said you become a youth when physiologically you have responsibilities and psychologically you have responsibilities. Physiologically, you've got to look after your body. Psychologically, you've got to look after your soul. The moment that's recognized, then you move on to recognize what? How do I then cultivate this area? I'm now a young man. I've passed puberty. I've recognized there's physiological changes in my body. At the same time, I've recognized there's psychological changes in my makeup. I now ask myself the question, how do I develop? What does the religion guide in this development? And this is what Amir al-Mu'mineen mentions in Nahj al-Balagha in a quite beautiful line. In his letter to Imam al-Hasan on his way back from the Battle of Siffin, he says the following line which I want you to all write to understand the vision of Islam when it came to the cultivation of the youth and the position of the youth. He says, my dear son Hassan, my dear son Hassan, the heart of a youth is like an uncultivated piece of land. Whatever you throw on it, it accepts. Therefore, I tried to mold your heart before it hardened. So that you were able to take from my examples and apply them into your own life. The heart of a youth is like an uncultivated piece of land. Whatever you throw on it, it accepts. Therefore, I tried to mold your heart before it hardened, so that you were able to take from my examples and apply them to your own life. Let's look at the words of Ali ibn Abi Talib here. The heart of a youth, underline that. The heart of a youth, uncultivated land. For sale. Freehold. Land. With planning permission. You can tell I come from a property family. Uncultivated land. Freehold, for sale, with planning permission. Let's say Ammar driving with his banger there. And here's someone with his Ferrari, for example. And we're both driving past this uncultivated piece of land. It's uncultivated, meaning it hasn't been touched yet. There's planning permission. Say I'm a good investor, and the man with the Ferrari is a bad investor. Say with me, I want to cultivate this piece of land. Planning permission tells me I can only make 5 floors, and I can have an underground car park, but I can't have a pool. When I come to cultivate it, I'll play by the rule. I'll make the 5 floors.